What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life's a Garden. This week had a little bit of a last-minute cancellation by the guest I had scheduled, which is all good. Things happen, and we'll reschedule that for a later date. This has happened before, and in the past, what's ended up happening is I've had to scramble and kind of do last-minute forced solo episode, which I imagine you think is what's happening today. On the contrary, I came prepared for the possibility. Now, whenever I have guests, anytime, any guest possible, I always have a backup plan. Because when you get canceled on enough, you start to figure out plan B. And so this week, we got a whole episode that I already had planned in the event this might happen. Which, I might add, shows to my growth as a podcaster. So kudos to me. And with that being said, let's get into today's episode. I believe it's episode 138 of Life's a Garden. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Hey, 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 yeah. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Life's a Garden. Now, you're probably wondering why I am dressed the way I am. Well, tonight I will be attending an 80s party. It's actually it's a birthday party, but the theme of said party is Stranger Things or 80s. Now, be it that I am not a big Stranger Things fan, or I don't really know a lot about it, I'm going with generic 80s rocker, 80s hair metal. And in doing so, I essentially am just doing like Axel Rose is what it basically looks like, is kind of the model that I shaped it after. And so that's what we're doing. And I figured, why not carry the bit into the show? Why not just add that, make that part of the show, since in just a few short hours, I will be wearing this in attendance at a party. So let's wear it here on the podcast. Let's make it interesting. Let's shake things up a bit. Oh, I don't need your civil. So I love theme parties, by the way. I love dressing up. I'm sure you've been able to tell in the past, I've dressed up on the show multiple times. And I got the jorts on too. Almost saw my balls just there. Oh my God, and I'm dropping my glasses. But yeah, got the jorts. And it's going to be a fun night. Also got the UFC fights on tonight. That'll be a blast. Talked a little bit about that last week, so I won't talk too much about it. But let's go, Volkanovski. Not putting any money on it this week. It's really the only fight that's even worth betting on, and I suppose I could. But I'm buying the fights already, so that's enough money spent. And then Super Bowl's tomorrow. That'll be fun. And hopefully... go Eagles. Hopefully the Eagles win. I'm not putting money on that one either because I don't want to jinx it. Let me just start this thing by saying, is there anything that's more of a nightmare than shopping? Seriously. I used to genuinely enjoy going out and just window shopping and checking things out and going to Home Depot for nothing and leaving with a few things, Hobby Lobby, things like that. As I've gotten older, I can't stand it. The only thing that's more nightmare fuel than actual shopping is traffic. And guess what? The two go hand in hand. Because in order to get to a store, you first have to face traffic. So, you are combining two hells to create one super hell, in my opinion. And the reason I even bring this up is I had to go I was looking for a leather jacket, because in theory I could do the costume without a leather jacket, but it just completes it. It really does. And this isn't even the one that I bought. This isn't anything I bought. This is the same jacket that my brother loaned to me when I dressed up like Ian Malcolm. And I had originally asked him to borrow this again, but he couldn't find it anywhere. So here I am, earlier today, driving all over creation, not knowing that the wrestling tournament is in town. So everybody is just everywhere. Every store, there's somebody there. So that's number one. Got to deal with all the mongrels that are out. I had to go also shop for food for the Super Bowl tomorrow, so I had to do that too. But nobody sells leather jackets. No one. I checked well, first I went to Walmart, because that's just the most obvious place to start, even though we all know I hate Walmart. I hate everything about Walmart. Enough said. Also saw all the idiots in line for the Chick-fil-A. Still a mile-long line. I can't believe... How is it that by now not everybody who's wanted it has gotten it? Maybe they just can't get enough of it. Anyway, so started at Walmart, because I figured I could get my groceries there and see if they have a leather jacket. And I already did this, because I tried to look for one of these before, when I was going to be Ian Malcolm. And I remembered that Ross Dress for Less had multiple leather jackets. Now, I didn't necessarily want to spend money on something that I could have just been lent, which, as you can see, he did find it, thank God, because, spoiler alert, I didn't find one anywhere. But like I said, I remembered when I was looking for one during Halloween time, they had a lot of leather jackets. They just didn't have the one I needed for the Ian Malcolm bit. They were more biker style, which would have worked just fine for this. I guess this is kind of bikery, but I don't know. Anyway, I go there. Wouldn't you know? They don't have any anymore. They're done. They're done selling jackets, apparently. To be fair, we are getting close to spring, so reasonable enough. But still, okay, that didn't work in my favor. I go to Goodwill. No. Old Navy. No. Go to the mall. Which was absolute hell. It was like watching cattle being corralled into the slaughterhouse. That's literally the best way I can describe it, except everybody is just, it was a feedlot. It was a giant feedlot of grotesque cattle. That's what the mall was today. And so, checked H&M, checked JCPenney, nothing. And JCPenney, my God, expensive shit. Like, I wouldn't have probably bought one even if they had it. In the end, it all worked out because my brother found it last minute, so thank God. Literally, I was going to say this too. Now, while shopping itself and traffic itself is in fact a nightmare, to counter that, you know what's like just a beauty in life? You know, it's just like one of life's greatest wonderments and mysteries and joys that I get is seeing a fat security guard. Because, I mean, I can't even tell you how many fat security guards I saw today. Everywhere. Not just at... I saw them at Walmart. I saw them at the mall. Not, okay, fat security guards and old security guards. It's like, what the hell are you securing? Who are you defending here? Like, what are you gonna do? Somebody steals something, you gonna chase them down? Somebody gets in an altercation, you're gonna be the one that secures the mall with 800 people in it? The cops were even at the mall today. Like, the real security were at the mall today. I'm not even joking with you. I looked up at one point and I saw, and I mean this as no disrespect at all, a Down syndrome security guard. His outfit was all disheveled and shit. Like, I legitimately thought it was somebody pretending to be a security guard. And now I'm really thinking, what are you securing? Like, that just says everything you need to know about, like, the state of security at the mall, I suppose, is that we have fat people, old people, and even the handicapped people securing the mall here. And hence why the police had to get involved. Anyway, yeah, so I damn near put a bullet in my head today, driving through traffic, not finding the thing I needed to at every single stop. So instead of actually putting a bullet in my head, I will just do the more reasonable option, which will calm my nerves, and drink a silver bullet. Cheers, everybody, to a fantastic Super Bowl weekend, hopefully. Ah, yes. That is exactly what I needed. That just puts me right back in a good mood. Air of the dog, baby. Because did I drink last night? Yes, I did. Am I going to drink tonight? Yes, I am. Am I going to drink tomorrow? Yes, I am. Am I an alcoholic? Probably. Yeah, I went to a local show last night. Stranded by Choice was playing. This band called Goners UK. They're from Bozeman. And my cousin Forrest knows one of the guitar players. So it was cool to check those guys out. Like punk rock. And then The Old Ones was the other band. And they're one of my all-time favorite local bands. So, pretty cool to see all those guys. And I gotta tell you, of course, I drank more than I intended to, because that's just what I always do. I always say it, because I knew I had a lot of stuff I needed to do today, including the podcast. Excuse me. I knew I had a lot of stuff I needed to do, so I was like, if I drink too much, I'm going to stay in bed longer than I want to. I'm going to be hungover. I'm not going to feel great. Granted, I didn't feel super hungover this morning, but I did stay in bed later than I intended to. But anyway, my thought last night, I'm sitting there watching. I love going to local shows, and I need to do it more than I already do. Because not only does it inspire me to want to just be better in the local music scene, and just to like put on the best show I can, it inspires me to be a better musician and performer. Because I get to see all these other great musicians and performers. So it makes you want to up your game. Not to be better, but just to elevate the scenery around. Like to elevate everyone else. They push you, you push them kind of thing. But also, I just was overwhelmed with this sense of like pride. How absolutely like blessed and proud I am to get to be a part of this local music scene. Or just to be a part of like live music in general. Like I was watching these guys up here and I'm looking at the crowd and I'm part of the crowd and I'm just like, I'm vibing with it, I'm feeling it, and I'm just like, I get to do that. Like the feeling I'm getting, I get to do that for other people. And it's just so cool. It's cool that I'm sitting down there in the crowd watching who I would consider my peers. And just to be able to call them peers alone is awesome in and of itself. So that was really cool. And so that was just a thought I had. I just wanted to say that. It's really cool that I get to be a part of that. And so watching that last night really opened my eyes to it. In local, not just local news, but national news, everybody cannot get enough of this Chinese spy balloon. And, it is kind of bizarre that it was floating over Montana. Like, what are the Chinese looking for over here? But the biggest thing is, why are they spying on us with balloons? Like, China is this super technological country. We were worried that they were stealing our identities through TikTok. Like, they legitimately have the power to do that. And to, like, spy on us through our phones, or satellites, or literally any... You think they're gonna send a Zeppelin to spy on us? They could send little drones. But no. Send a hot air balloon. Send a weather balloon to spy on the United States. Then they shot one. It was either the same one or a different one. Shot it down in North Carolina. And then I guess they were saying that they were pissed off. Like, the Chinese were pissed off about it because it wasn't a spy balloon, but a weather... I don't fucking know. It's weather balloons? Why do those even exist anymore? We have technology now. Balloons are a thing of the past. We don't need them. We don't even need balloons to exist in general. So my running theory truly is, it's not Chinese, it's probably American. Because America is dumb enough to believe that the Chinese would send a balloon to spy on us. So why would the American government throw up a balloon and be like, it's a Chinese balloon, look, and then stoke the flames of war? Because they've never done that before. They've never had false narratives to stoke wars. Afghanistan, wink, wink. 9/11, wink, wink. Yeah, they've never done that before. The war on terror was an absolute fraud of a war. Like, threats of WMDs and things like that. Now they're putting out Chinese spy balloons. It's kind of ironic, too, being like that I'm... Do you guys remember Guns N' Roses came out with a album called Chinese Democracy? Sitting in a Chinese stew, spying with a Chinese balloon. God. Chinese democracy. We're about to be living in a damn Chinese democracy if we keep this shit up. God, like, seriously, between Russia and China, I mean, between Russia, China, and us, which are the three superpowers, who do you, like, on the surface, like, I know the United States has more weapons and has the technology and all this and that, you know, we have the arsenal to be able to hold our own when it comes to war. Not to mention, we are kind of isolated. We got Canada and Mexico, but we're not like surrounded. That's a huge advantage for us, that we're more isolated. But on the surface level, when it comes to China, Russia, and the United States, who looks like the weakest link, really? Probably us. We got all these femboys running around. We got woke ideology. We got purple hair. You know, nobody knows what their gender is anymore. And, like, our biggest threat to our democracy is racism and sexism and all this, when it's like, no, it's the other guys. It's Russia and China. That's the biggest threat to our democracy. And then we elect fucking meat puppets that can't even, that drool when they speak. They can't even, we got demented we got demented old men running our country. They got dudes that fight bears in the woods. They got crazy dictators who are hell-bent and determined to get their way. Not guys who can barely stumble over words, who can barely formulate a sentence without hurting themselves. That's what we got. So it poses a question, and I'm curious because, I mean, a study came out recently that was saying that China and Russia have similar issues where they, and honestly, so do the United States. The whole baby boomer thing where, a large population is going to be getting older, and then the younger population, there's not as many. So the workforce is going to diminish, economics, things like it's going to be a weird thing. They're talking about it with China and Russia because China implemented the whole one child policy. So now the younger generation, there's less people, but then you have the older generation with a lot of people, and they're all going to be getting old and retiring and not being able to work and things like that. But that's also happening here. Anyway, that's a side point. When it comes to China and or Russia, it almost seems like just a matter of time before one of them comes into ultimate power, really, because they're the only ones that are hell-bent on doing it, and it's literally going to be between them taking over or nuclear annihilation, is what it seems like. Hopefully not the case, obviously, that's not what I would hope is happening, but it begs the question, if we really were to live in a Chinese democracy, or a Russian democracy, it wouldn't be a democracy, by the way. It would be a dictatorship. What would you prefer? Would you prefer to live in a Chinese culture? Let's just say, for example, let's just say for a like I said, and let's just say for an example, okay? I'm not going to say that they're going to take over here, but if you were to get dropped in either, if you're going to be taken from here right now and go live in either Russia or go live in China, which would you prefer? Obviously, you have to learn the language. You have to adapt to the culture, things like that. Obviously, you have to follow policy, which essentially they kind of have similar political policy and things like that. They're very strict, ruthless dictatorships, essentially. So let me think about it. Okay, let's just start bit by bit. Okay, food. Personally, I think the Chinese have much better cuisine than Russia. Russia has, I can't even think of a single Russian dish. Fucking stroganoff, ugh. China, you get, rice, noodles, chicken, pork, all that stuff. So food-wise, China checks the box. Language. If I had to learn a language, I feel like Russian would be easier. I think China, or Chinese, is it Chinese or is it, what is the language? Whatever the Chinese language is. Mandarin, right? Is it Mandarin? I feel like Mandarin would be more difficult to learn and to write. Learning how to write in Chinese or in Mandarin versus Russian. I think Russian would be a little bit easier. Women. Russian women? You seen them? Uh, 10 out of 10. Nothing against Chinese women, but compared, like, between all Asian women, I would probably say China's in the middle somewhere. Japanese women are definitely number one. Or Korean. Korean and Japanese women are top tier. But Russian women might be like top 3 in the world. So there's a check for Russia. Landscape-wise, I think I'm a little bit more built for Russia. Like the cold climate. I think I could survive I think I could adapt to a cold climate more than like a... I think China's more of a humid climate. So all in all, I think Russia would be the way I would end up going. It doesn't help that I'm of European descent. I think I would fit in a little bit better in Russia than I probably would in China. Ultimately, yeah, I think Russia is going to take the cake on most of it. I think Russia is definitely a hardened, more like gritty type of culture. I mean, they're Eastern European, and Eastern Europeans are nuts. But they are hardened people. Yeah. How does that song go? Chinese Democracy. Oh, can't even think of it. All I know is sitting in a Chinese stew. Speaking of music, we might as well move into this. The Grammys just happened. Yay! The least important fucking award of all time. So I used to really like the Grammys. I used to actually wait to watch the Grammys. Because my dullard brain thought they were actually going to show the winner of Metal Artist of the Year or Rock Artist of the Year. Little did I know, they barely give out any awards. They give out like 3 awards, and then the rest of the show is just performances. Crappy performances, I might add. And being a fan of rock and metal, of course, those genres always get ousted. I think a couple years ago, Ghost actually played, and it was, guess what? The best performance of the night. But then you got all these dumb hip-hop and, rap artists that perform, and it's always overplayed out, and then you get what you have this year, which always happens. Is it Sam Smith? Is that his name? Sam something. Performed, and now everybody's outraged because he had like a satanic type performance. Like there was devils and he was dressed like a devil, or it was like promiscuous or something like that, because I believe the song he was performing was called Unholy. And so they did like a devil themed thing. And of course, mostly conservative right were like, "Oh my God, they're abandoning the Christian way. They're trying to show our children. They're trying to brainwash our children." And the QAnon people, they're like, "This only further proof of the Illuminati and selling your soul to the devil." And it's like, I think I've talked about this before. The devil imagery and things like that have been used in music forever. Like forever. You ever heard of metal? Like, no wonder they don't actually show. Ghost literally claimed to be Satanists, and they performed at the Grammys a few years back, which I believe caused a level of uproar. Of course it would. So, yeah, that just happened. Everybody's up in arms about this. And all I have to say about that is, who gives a shit? Not because of the performance. Like, I don't care. It's art. People perform, like, Lil Nas X got in trouble when he did his devil stuff. Fuck it. Like, it's art. Art is subjective. You can't police art.
Like, yes, I know it's on TV, and yes, they technically do police art with the FCC and censorship and things like that. But that's why I don't give a shit, because it's art. It's performance art. And you shouldn't stifle performance art. I don't care if it has the devil in it. I literally listen to a music that a certain subsect of the genre of music I listen to are hardcore Satanists. Some of the bands I listen to promote Satanism, but I just like the music. I don't like the message necessarily, but I like the music. So that aside, the reason you shouldn't give a shit is because it's the Grammys. And nobody's cared about the Grammys in 20 years. When Jethro Tull beat Metallica for Rock Album of the Year, nobody gave a shit after that because clearly it didn't matter. Like, the Grammys have been the most nothing award show for years. Forever. Granted, if I won a Grammy, I'd accept it. If my band was offered if we were nominated for a Grammy and we won, I'd probably accept it. So I'm a shill. I guess I'm a shill to the system. But Ozzy Osbourne, one of the most tied into devil imagery that there is, who, by the way, just canceled his tour and might be retired from music now. I think I just saw an article, though, that came out and said that he will at least have a farewell performance, at least a show. But man, it's a sign, I think he's doing it because of his health. He hasn't looked good for years, and I can't believe didn't die years ago. But it's just signaling the end of one of the greatest legacies of all time in music. The Prince of Darkness. Literally, his name was the Prince of Darkness. And they get upset that there was a devil performance on the Grammys. Ozzy's been doing devil performances forever. Since the 70s. So, what are we getting upset about? This is a new thing? But yeah, hopefully, God, I'm glad I got to see Ozzy at least once, because that's gonna be a very, very sad day when he goes. But for now, he's still here, he's still alive, still kicking. So hopefully for much longer. Why don't need your civil war? It feeds the rich while it buries the poor. Your power hungry's having nothing but a human grocery store. What do you want from me? I'm dressed up like Axel Rose, okay? That's the gimmick this week. That's what I got. That's the bit. That's all I got for you. That's literally, this is what happens when I have to do last minute episodes. This is what happens. I dress up like Axl Rose, and that's the bit for the week. So I don't know what more you want from me. I don't know if I think I've done this before, but I'm gonna do it again because it's when do I dress up like Axl Rose? When does this happen? This is my impression of Axl Rose singing Wheels on the Bus. The wheels on the bus go round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round. Round and 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 round they go. Wheels on the bus go round and round. The wipers on the bus go squeaky squeak. I love that. I've been doing that for a long time, actually. I'm almost certain I've done that on the show before, but never dressed up like Axl Rose. So, there you go. enjoy. That's the bit for the week. That's what I got for you. Speaking of people being up in arms over nonsense, over ridiculous things, everybody can't shut up about Leo DiCaprio fucking a 19-year-old. Now, I get it. It's a little creepy. You know, he's what, 40-something? He's got to be almost 50. She's 19. But, first of all, like, let's just stop for a minute. Like, okay, yes, creepy. No doubt about it. I'm almost 30, and I can't really picture being with anybody less than 21. Like, if you can't go out and have a drink with me, yeah, it's kind of difficult to imagine being with somebody like that. But this is not a normal situation, okay? Let's think about this for just half a fucking second, okay? Let's take Leonardo DiCaprio's side. Let's talk about him. He's Leo fucking DiCaprio. First of all, dude can do whatever he wants. Not only that, he can do whoever he wants. Now, that's not true, of course. Whoever he wants to a legal standard. But the guy's fucking filthy rich. He's a handsome motherfucker. He's one of the most talented actors we have working today. I think the guy's earned the right to fuck younger girls. And why it's a problem? You got me. She's legal. If you didn't want it to be a problem, change the legal age of consent to 21. To change it to 35. Like what? Like you made a legal age of consent for a reason. It's 18. She's over 18. By the way, did I mention she's an absolute smoke show? And you wonder why Leo would do such a thing? If she's willing to do it? And why wouldn't she? He's Leonardo DiCaprio! Did I not just mention all those things? Great actor. Handsome as shit. Lots of money. What's not to like? So you can't blame her, and you never would. See, that's the thing. All the shaming is going to him. But nobody's shaming her for wanting to hook up with him because he's a handsome, successful, rich guy. But nobody wants to shame her for that because he's older? I'd fuck Leonardo DiCaprio. What are we talking about? Huh? What are you talking about? Who's getting shamed in that situation, huh? Why? Here's the thing. Who can blame him for doing that in the first place? Nobody. She's a hot 19-year-old. I mean, all you motherfuckers are out here jerking off to 18-year-old porn, but Leo can't stick it in one of them? How do you think Leo maintains that youth? His balls are always empty. That's the secret. You think Brad Pitt looks as good as he does because his balls are full every day? Who are you talking about? These boys need to empty their clip on the daily. And if you're going to do that, you're not putting it in some hag. You're not going to go dump it in the fucking mall security lady's cooch. You're going to dump it in a fucking 19-year-old. Right? If you're Leonardo DiCaprio, yeah, you're going to be busting nuts all the time. And you're going to do it in some old broad? Who wants that? I don't want that. You want Leo to be fooling around with some 35-year-old soccer mom? Who on this planet would want to see that? No, you want Leo DiCaprio with the hottest chick possible. A 19-year-old IG model, a 25-year-old swimsuit model. That's who Leo DiCaprio not only deserves, that's who we want him to be with. Now on the flip side, who can blame her? It's Leonardo DiCaprio. Who's blaming her for wanting to do that with him? Nobody. So what's the problem? You tell me. I just lined it out pretty fucking clear for you. What's the problem? There's no problem. Not to me. So, I think people overreact pretty quickly. Also, why are we shaming the dude? You want him to date some fucking housewife? Some fucking 45-year-old CEO of some bullshit company that wears pantsuits? No! I want that chick wearing as little of clothing as humanly possible. And I'm sure Leo does too. All right. Gotta talk about this LeBron James shit. So LeBron James just recently broke the all-time points. Has the most points in NBA history, surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the most points ever scored in the NBA. Now, first thing I'll say, congratulations to LeBron James. Well earned, well deserved. He's been a very high level competing athlete for a very long time. It was only inevitable because, I mean, the dude could probably play another 2 or 3 years still. I don't foresee him playing much longer because I think he has other aspirations. Now he's done what seemingly was the unthinkable for a very long time. But I'm sure he'll play at least 1 or 2 more years. But LeBron, here's my problem with it, okay? First of all, they backed my favorite part of the whole breaking the record. They backed it up with a loss. And what did LeBron James do? Sat out the rest of the game. Didn't even play in the fourth quarter. See, the problem with LeBron James, the problem I've usually always had with LeBron James, he's not a team player. He's an I guy. He's a me player. He wants the MVPs. He wants the accolades, the adoration. You get guys like Nikola Jokic, who should be the 3-time MVP by the end of this year. Probably won't get it, but he should be. He's not an I guy. He's a team guy. He wants success for the team. Why do you think he leads the league in assists? Because he shares the ball. He's also a great scorer. A lot of these Euro guys are like that. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a team guy. Luka Doncic is a team guy. Kevin Durant? He's an I guy. Which, by the way, just got traded to the Phoenix Suns. I don't think that's going to work out this year. I think the chemistry is there's not enough time for them to build the chemistry they need to win a championship. So I still like the Nuggets' chances at winning. But, like I said, congrats to LeBron. Great. You know, nothing but respect. I really do. As much as I can't stand the guy, you got to respect the game. Because he is a talented guy, and he is a force to be reckoned with on the court. But you get records like that by being a me guy. That's what LeBron is, unfortunately. That's just my opinion. But I think it's pretty clear that that's the case. So, yeah. So that, and then what else was I going to say on the topic? Yeah, they lost the game. Like, how do you back it up with a loss? Because and then they took like a 10-minute break to like for everybody to take pictures. Like, there's an image of him shooting the ball, and everybody in the crowd is just phones out. It's so... I just talked about this a couple episodes ago, about capturing the moment. Everybody wants to capture the moment. Nobody wants to just live in the moment and experience it for themselves. As if you're not going to see a million pictures of it. I heard tickets for that game were selling for like $2,500. Which, by the way, I'm going down to Denver here in April to go to a Nuggets playoff game, which is going to be super cool. So yeah, there's that, and then what else? I thought I had something else to say about the LeBron thing, but maybe not. Oh well. Yeah. Nuggets. I think they still have a shot. We had a bunch of trades just happen. Some big ones, man. Kevin Durant to the Suns. Everybody's coming to the West, man. And then the Lakers made a ton of moves. But again, I don't think there's enough time for them to build the chemistry they need. Especially when you got an eye guy on the team. It's hard to build chemistry with an eye guy. Because they're all about themselves. All right. Let's wrap this thing up. We got the Super Bowl. Well, after today. So this will come out Monday. Yesterday was the Super Bowl. If the Kansas City Chiefs won, don't be looking for me. Because I'll be in some fucking ditch. I'm going to drive myself off a cliff. Okay? Because I can't do it. I can't stand to watch the Chiefs win another Super Bowl. Not this soon. Not ever. Not ever. Go Eagles. So, that's what I'm hoping for. Going to be making my chili. Going to be making our bacon wrap brats. I guess I'll talk about the Pro Bowl. Because the Pro Bowl did just happen. Then they just changed it to a flag football game. Which is understandable. Like, I get it. People were kind of talking shit about it. But it's like, it already kind of was that. Wasn't it? So, why not? Like, why make them dress out in pads where they feel like their instinct is to go hard and to hit harder and to play fast and all that? For what? What's the point? Like, you might as well just let them play flag football. And they played by flag football rules, which I thought was cool, because flag football does have different rules. And what's funny is, I remembered some of them when I played flag football, which was it was a couple years ago I played flag. But yeah, there's different rules. And as they were like kind of talking about them, I remembered some of them. And I even was like, I don't think he can do that. Like, because the quarterback ran. And I was like, I don't think he can just run. And sure enough, it was a illegal rush. So, I did remember some of those rules. And then, Derek Carr might have went from being one of my least favorite quarterbacks simply because he was on the Raiders to one of my most favorite quarterbacks because of how he just absolutely bodied the Raiders. So, he got an invite to the Pro Bowl because Mahomes wasn't going because he's in the Super Bowl. And then Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, who were the other Pro Bowl selections, just decided not to go, which I think is bullshit. Like, you got voted in, you should fucking go. That kind of pisses me off. Like, accept the award. But anyway, so then they had to get backup guys. Trevor Lawrence was one, the dude from the Ravens, not Lamar Jackson, and then Derek Carr. For anybody who's unaware, Derek Carr is not going to be returning to the Raiders. They made it very clear that Derek Carr will not be coming back to the Raiders. They benched him for the last 2 games, and it sounds like they pretty much told him, we're trading you after this year, or cutting you. And he comes out to do the QB challenge. It's like an accuracy challenge. And he just destroys it. He like absolutely put on a clinic. And then they come up to interview him. And Ryan Clark says, he goes, you've thrown a lot of passes in Las Vegas and for the Raiders. Have you ever thrown them that well? And he says, clearly not. Probably why I'll be playing somewhere else. and let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the
floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
No, Derek Carr absolutely dunking on the stupid Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah. So, that was pretty fun. That was pretty nice. Pretty nice. I didn't mind the Pro Bowl this year. I didn't mind how it went. It seemed pretty good to me, so I was happy with it. How can't you be, though? I mean, that's how the NBA is. That's how the NBA, like, all-star game is. It's just, everybody's just alley-ooping. Nobody's playing defense, so who cares? Why not? Ugh. This wig is itchy as shit on the back of my neck. God. And I gotta wear this all night. Go watch some UFC fights. Yeah, it's gonna be a good night. Not drinking too much, because, again, I say that, and I probably will drink a lot. So, no, I'm gonna be a good boy. I'm gonna try and be a good boy, at least. I'm probably gonna call it short this week. I mean, like I said, it was kind of a, like, I pretty much knew what I wanted to talk about. I kind of had it all figured out. But also, I got to get to this party. You know, like, I'm running late today. I had to go do the shopping. I had to go fucking lose my mind in traffic and at the stores and all that, watching all the ghouls and goblins. I thought it was Halloween, but turns out it's almost Valentine's Day. But there were so many freaks of nature out there, I thought it was on the TLC channel. Yeah, so what was I gonna say? Yeah, probably gonna cut it short just because it's one of those weeks. I got to get to this party, and you know, it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. Hope you guys have fun this weekend, or had fun this weekend. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you stay safe out there. Enjoy your life. Live your life to the fullest, as we always say. Spread that positivity. Positivity radiates. What you put in the universe, it will give back to you tenfold. And yeah, just live your best life. Go out there. Go forth with love in your heart. Go forth with the intent to carry out good, and that will be delivered back to you. You will receive good into your life. Let's see.
I don't need your civil war. No, 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 no. Life is a garden, oh yeah.
Don't forget, everybody, life's a garden. Dig it.
Just gotta keep on keeping on.